Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King. And today I'm going to be giving you part 2 of What If Naruto Had His Father Intelligence and His Mother Here. Remember to get this one to 100 like as usual. Share this to all of your friends in your social media platform. And also guys, don't forget to go ahead and check out the other series. Yes, I post a brand new episode of What If Naruto Was the Demigod of Fire over in Making 3. So go ahead, check out that and enjoy guys. And also I post a brand new episode of What If Naruto Was Sent to the Marvel Universe. So go ahead, check out that and enjoy guys. I also post a brand new episode of Anime Prince of What If Naruto Awaken the Powers of the White Falcon. So go and enjoy that as well guys. And remember for new, yes, I indeed have 4 channels that I post What If on every single day. Yes, you heard that correctly. Every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead and destroy that red subscribe button and become a part of the Making family. And thank you for all of your help and your support. Remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be replying talking back to all of you. So yeah, without further ado, what do you say we jump right into this new episode begin now guys? So the last time we left off, a 6-year-old Naruto was trying to figure out what was wrong with him. He didn't understand why everyone treated him so differently. Unlike other kids, Naruto's mind was more developed. He was much smarter, much more subdued and calm. So he was trying to find out what the problem was. He checked himself over in the mirror and realized that he had everything like everyone else. Granted, he had a bright color right here that no one else seemed to have. And he also possessed 3 whisker marks on each of his cheeks, but still, that did not make him different because most people had different looks and colors all over the village. Their hair and different things. So he was confused why he was different. Naruto got to go to the academy and arriving there, things were quickly spiraling as he saw people whispering amongst one another as he wondered, what was the cause? Did he already do something he did not? Naruto's mindset was not a happy one towards the village. Why would he go out of his way to protect something that treated him so badly? At first his mindset was not happy at all, not to mention a couple of kids in the class tried to bully him. On the first day, Sasuke and Naruto went up against one another and Sasuke floored Naruto within seconds, yes. Naruto was on the ground beaten. It didn't take much time. However, as Naruto went home that day, he stopped in a training ground trying to get stronger until a conversation happened. However, it was just a trick. The person was deliberately speaking so Naruto could hear about the ninja library. Even the Hokage told Kakashi not to interfere. This treatment would make Naruto stronger and it did. As Naruto went to the library and started to learn things, Naruto got knowledge. His mind was able to focus and gather things much faster than any other kids his age. That is why Naruto was able to soak in information like a sponge. He soak and he soak and he soak and he soak. Gathering up all that information, Naruto's mind was moving a mile a minute. As Naruto loved them, information became his books, his studies, everything. Just like that, years passed as Naruto was now in the special class. His grades had forced him to go above. Yes, he surpassed the other kids by far, taking one step further, passing all of them in his own grade because his strength, speed, everything, his intelligence was far better than the teachers expected as Haruka asked him if he wants to go to the more advanced class. Naruto did not hesitate to accept. Naruto was just 10 years old when he finally graduated as he was placed in a team with the younger siblings of Katetsu and Izumo, the girl on the team. Her name was Mayu, as she was seemingly afraid of Naruto the way she acted. She was soft, always sticking to the other boy in the team. Granted, they were the both siblings of Izumo and Katetsu, the Eternal Gate Guard. You could understand why they had such a close friendship with one another. As for the other boy, his name was Rai, as he was a tough person it seems. When the day came for them to take the test from Kakashi, who was their sensei, Naruto was surprised that they agreed to work with him, and despite the circumstances, they came out on top. Since then, they have been doing D rank missions until they finally got a C rank out of the village, as Naruto was intending to prove himself and see what the world truly has to offer. So with that, Naruto made his way. The group came upon some missing ninjas who wanted to go after the caravan that they were in, as Kakashi quickly put them into formation as the members moved from one another. It was then that Naruto rushed out into the forest as he went after the guy that was out there. He was not that strong, as he could not keep up with Naruto. Naruto stood over the man as the man begged Naruto not to kill him. He had a son, a 6-year-old son. However, the mission was to eliminate all threats and possible future threats to any caravan. Naruto kunai came down as he slit the man's throat, as he then ended the other's life. Naruto was seeming a bit shaken up, as Kakashi came and placed a hand on his shoulder, but Naruto understood it must be done for the job. Trying to get the memory out of his head, he made his way. So yeah guys, basically as we left off, you guys can switch across the playset of yourself, and what do you say we jump right into this brand new episode. Begin now guys. Yukigakure was a peaceful, prosperous village up in the land of hot water. The village was tucked away on a high mountain top. As the village pathways came down into carved ways that spiraled through the mountain going down, the country received its name from its many hot springs that went through the land. These rivers cascaded down as they converged to create a gigantic river. The village was rather popular as a tourist spot. Naruto along with his team walked as they saw many families coming in with them. Within the village itself there was a large variety of festival, masses and several different items being sold in several different shops. Given the popularity of the country, it was like a festival was happening almost every day. The main thing though was a gigantic archway with the word hot spring on top of it. Majority of the people were heading towards the location. The sky was bleached with orange and purple as the sun was setting. Kakashi decided that they would stay the night before leaving in the dawn. Hearing about their decision and overcome with the gratitude for them protecting him and his family, the merchant that they came with here gave them all a ticket for an overnight stay at a favorite inn, and also its very own hot spring. And so that evening, Mayu headed off towards the woman's bath as Naruto and Rai hunkered down in the man's bath. Resting a soaked towel on his head, Naruto closed his eyes as he let his body soak in the water. With his eyes closed, Naruto could hear everything going on around him until, "Oi, Naruto." Naruto opened an eye to see Rai looking at him from the opposite end of the pool. Mirroring Naruto with a folded towel on his head, he had a mischievous look on his face, much more than Mayu. And ever since the incident with the bandits, Naruto noticed that the boy had been talking with him with more frequency. It was a little much for Naruto because a small part of him wondered if Rai was trying to set him up. Naruto never really had this growing up, so yeah, it was hard for him to trust people. But in order to make the team fully functional, he decided to go along with it. "What is it?" said Naruto. "Think Kakashi sensei take off his mask in the bath." Naruto pondered on that for a moment. It was true. He has never seen his sensei's face, but he never thought too deeply about it. "I don't see why he would not," said Naruto. "I don't think that he has a medical condition that always required for him to have his face mask on. I bet he's hiding a weird mole or something else," said Rai, as he touched a scar that was on his cheek. "Who's hiding a mole?" a voice asked. They turned as it was Kakashi as he was standing where the steam was the thickest. They could only make out the outline of his body. As the man stepped closer, Rai got to his feet, ready to see the man's face. Naruto remained seated, but he was curious. Just as Kakashi was about to come in view, there was a hissing sound showing that hot water was being pumped in the bath. However, that caused a problem as steam rose up so much so that Naruto could no longer see Rai over the other side. "This is nice, isn't it?" Kakashi spoke. It makes it hard to see anything though." There was a splashing sound. "Oh, there goes my towel. Guess I'll have to get a new one." There was another splashing sound as you could hear his foot hitting on the stone as he climbed out. Naruto flashed through one time before he yelled his hand out, releasing a small gust of wind that blew all the smoke away from around Kakashi. All the steam was quickly blown away. Where is he?" said Rai as he looked around. "Thanks for that, Naruto. I was able to find my towel." They turned as Kakashi stood behind Naruto, now having his towel wrapped around his face. Rai slapped his forehead as he groaned. Time skip. After the three had finished soaking in the hot springs, as they changed into cotton yukatas that were provided by the inn, Kakashi somehow put him back on his face mask As they got back, they were joined by Mayu. Several families were by the pond as they enjoyed and watched the colorful fish as they swim in the ponds. It was dark. The paper lanterns were hung from almost everywhere, giving the place a wonderful view. Attracted to different locations of the garden, the team split up as Kakashi sat down on a bamboo bench over to the side, pulling out his book, while Roy joined several other boys that were admiring several old samurai weapons. As Mayu went through the garden, as for Naruto, he made his way towards the pond. The families had moved on. There was only one other man standing there. Together they stood in silence as they watched a fish swim around in the water. Nice chakra control earlier, kid, but you packed a bit too much punch into it, the man said. Startled, Naruto glanced towards the stranger. He had silver slick back hair, but he was even younger than Kakashi. He was fit and his arms were muscled, indicated extensive training. The man, or was he a teenager? He was not wearing yukata like everyone else, just a black shirt and a black pants. Around his neck was a headband that Naruto did not recognize. It had 3 diagonal lines. As Naruto wondered if the land of hot water had a ninja village hidden away somewhere. What village are you from? He asked. Yugakure, the man said. Wait, you mean this place used to be a hidden village, said Naruto. He couldn't imagine a place like this, filled with ninjas ready to kill and assassinate. Yet the man standing here was a shinobi, and from what he could sense, a very powerful one at that. It used to be a proper ninja village before these fat merchants came in and turned this place into the laughing stock that it is right now. Now the village has become just like this pond and these people. Simple, stagnant fish. Naruto did not respond. The man had yet to make any threatening moves, but there was something off about him. It wasn't just the bitterness that was in his words when he spoke about the merchants and the people that changed the village. It was a steely glint in his eyes and a tremor in his muscles that set warning bells off in Naruto's head. There was a splash as a pair of children in yukata run towards the pond edge. They examined the fish, pointing at ones that caught their eyes. Look at that fat one, the girl said. Do you think Mama will make me take it home, Taki? Her brother in a blue yukata swiped at the fish several times. It's just a stupid fish. It will die in a day anyways, just like your other ones. Jumping out of the pond, he waddled away. The girl called out towards him as she jumped out and went after him. Naruto felt it. Pure raw killer intent as the foreign ninja beside him blurred away. Naruto's legs kicked into action as he grabbed the children. The both of them were frightened as Naruto leaped away. Something struck the ground with tremendous force where the children were just standing, completely destroying it. When the dust had cleared, the silver-haired man had a steel katana in his hand that was currently striking in the ground. Looking up towards Naruto with a smile, he pulled the katana out of the ground. Jumping back with a vindictive giggle, he swiped at a passing woman before he jumped away once again. The woman looked down in disbelief as blood came spurting out of her thigh as her legs collapsed. She screamed out as pandemonium set in. What's going on? Said Rai as he rushed over. Naruto could barely hear him over the screaming. If they weren't careful, they could be trampled as people started to run all over. There's a man on the loose. As Mayu arrived with Kakashi. He's strong, Sensei. Alright, Team Kakashi. I'll take care of him. You 3 focus on evacuating the citizens. As they jumped into motion as they ran towards the lock gateway. As people were banging their fists on it, Naruto used his elbow to broke the weapon case. He pulled out a sight. He then used said sight to slice right through, allowing the people to rush out the gate. Before him and Mayu start to help out the people that fought and the ones that were injured in the stampede. As Naruto helped out a middle-aged man who had a slash across his arm. Hidan, please stop him, the man begged as he collapsed unconscious. Mayu rushed over as they propped the man up against one of the walls in the buildings. As Naruto's eyes scanned over the place trying to find Kakashi. As he saw him, he had never seen the Jonin look this serious before. Even dressed in the yukata, Kakashi's serious face would have sent some of the most dangerous people running in the opposite direction. However, the silver-haired man Hidan simply started to laugh. Don't you just stare at me, said Hidan. Show me what you got. Kakashi disappeared in a flicker, faster than Naruto has ever seen him move. He kicked Hidan in the chest. Hidan was thrown back to where the 2 Genins were watching. Leaping out of the way, they watched the man collide into a tree as it collapsed behind him. A deafening, crackling sound. It sounded like birds chirping could be heard as a blue ball formed in Kakashi's hand, lightning flickering all around it. Kakashi shot forward, leaving a wake of destruction in his path. Just before Kakashi struck though, Hidan lashed out and reached for something. The boy! Mayu cried out, but Naruto already started to move the moment he saw Hidan reach. Pushing himself to go faster than he ever gone before, Naruto leaped into the air. The struggling boy that was stuck in Hidan's grip looked on with horrifying eyes as Hidan held him like a meat shield. As Naruto arrived and grabbed the Yukata by his hand and tear the boy away, the crackling ball of lightning passed inches away from his face. As Hidan leaped away, Kakashi doing the same. Landing down, Naruto placed the boy on the ground. Mayu rushed over as quickly as possible to check on the child. However, he yelled, "Get away from me, you monsters," he said, his body shaking. "We're here to help," Mayu said, holding her hands up to show that she wasn't holding anything. "No, you killed Nami," the boy said, as Naruto remembered the girl that he was playing with earlier. "Don't kill me too." As Naruto then remembered, the man from earlier, "Please, don't kill me. I have a son." As Naruto wondered if the boy was at home, waiting for his father to come back, would he be as frightening as this boy? Naruto looked up towards the boy. "I won't allow you to die," he said. "Trust me," said Naruto. The boy looked back towards Naruto with wide eyes. He stopped. He must have found some sincerity in Naruto's words because he stopped trembling. Behind him, Hidan screamed out in agonizing pain. Something was then thrown. Naruto turned as he saw something moving. The steel, moving towards the boy who he was reaching out towards. A few minutes earlier after, both Kakashi and Hidan had jumped away. "Whoa, that was close," Hidan said, as he rushed towards Kakashi with his katana and clashed at him. Kakashi dodged and stepped back. As the man swung, as Kakashi leaped underneath the blade. Kakashi got back up as the man turned and thrust the blade out. Kakashi twisted, but the man used the side and slammed it into him, forcing the Jonin to jump back. Kakashi watches the guy leap forward. However, immediate lightning flared on his hand as he thrust it forward. It shattered the blade as the pieces were thrown in all different directions, one going over towards the gate. The guy pulled himself off. Rather surprising given the amount of pain he must be going through right now, as Kakashi had plunged his hand right through him as he dropped the hilt of the katana that he was holding. Seeing that it was useless, Kakashi missed his heart. However, he shouldn't be standing despite that he still hit some vital organs, let alone should he be moving like that right now. Kakashi searched around as the guy had burst off. That was when he saw him over there as he moved forward. As Hidan stood over Rai, the unconscious Rai, Naruto had dropped the sight that he had found, what she used to slip open the gate. Hidan picked up the weapon after knocking down Rai as he picked him up with one hand. Seeing Kakashi coming towards him, he smirked before he threw Rai in the air. Kakashi released Chakra down to his feet as he shot forward and caught Rai and leaped away, but it was just a distraction as Hidan used the opportunity to run out of the air. He was gone. Kakashi turned towards his other two students and rushed over towards where they were. When Kakashi arrived, what he saw frightened him. Naruto was on the ground. Mayu was trying to stop a bleeding wound that was currently on his chest. Naruto was unconscious on the ground. His yukata was torn and ragged. A long, jagged, broken off piece of metal was currently beside him that Mayu had pulled out. Kakashi realized what happened as he quickly pushed her aside as she obliged. Gathering his chakra together, he prepared to use the medical ninjutsu that he knew, but he didn't stop. Impossible, Kakashi thought, as he saw the skin knitting back together, as he realized that the seal Kyuubi must have accelerated Naruto's healing rate, pumping out his chakra inside the child to save him. "Sensei," Mayu said. "He'll be fine. It was just a shallow cut," he lied to her. "Shallow?" she said, confused. As Kakashi reached and picked Naruto up, there were shouts at the gate and several medics came rushing in. As he caught one of the medics' attention and turned him towards Rai, who was starting to stir, he turned to look back at Mayu. "Sensei," she said. She gave him a strange look. "I already know." He raised an eyebrow. "I already know what he is," she told him. Time skip. Naruto woke up as there was a throbbing pain in his right chest. Looking down, he saw bandages covering his chest. As Naruto did not understand why he was... Oh yeah, the memories came back. Piece of Hidan's blade had flew towards them. It was about to hit the child, but Naruto pushed him out of the way, and the metal had pierced right through his chest. Naruto wondered if he had died, As he wondered if this was the afterlife, no. He was in pain. He was in too much pain to be dead. Just then he heard footsteps outside the room, and then voices as he realized it was Kakashi and Mayu. They were talking too quietly for him to hear, but it seems that they were discussing something. A minute later, they must have come to a decision, as he heard Kakashi's footsteps walking away. There was a pause before the door slipped open. It was Mayu. Naruto closed his eyes as he pretended to sleep. He didn't know what to make of his female teammate. Though they've been on a team for months now, she's been avoiding him the entire time. In fact, ever since the mission with the bandits, she made it more of an effort to avoid him. He didn't know what she was doing here, and he certainly didn't want to talk to her. As he heard her footsteps coming over towards where he was, she sat down something on the small table. His dinner, perhaps. Ah, so that is why she's here. He expected her to get up and leave, but no, she just sat there in silence. After some time had passed, he heard rustling fabric. Suddenly he felt warm hands wrapped around his own. He tensed up as she squeezed slightly, holding onto his hand with a sense of strange comfort. "I'm sorry," she said. "I forgive you," she whispered in the darkness. She then got up and left the room. Naruto was confused. "What was that?" she said. The next day, when the medic finally removed the bandage from Naruto's chest, the man was shocked. Even Naruto was shocked as well. He expected there to be a bigger wound, but no, there weren't. Seeing that he was in so much pain, he thought there was a deeper wound, but he guessed he was just silly, thinking that there was something that he did not see. Before they left, the young boy that Naruto had saved came up to him. "Thank you," the boy said. His name was Taki. He had changed out of his blue yukata to mourning clothes. They were in mourning after all. His sister, she was killed in the attack. However, he was much calmer now as he thanked Naruto, tears running down his cheek. Naruto nodded, but he did not respond. There was this strange feeling welling up in his chest. That was something he never felt before. However, he saw others did this before. Naruto reached out and patted him on the head. For some reason, however, Taki started to cry even harder. By the time they left through the gate, Taki was waving goodbye to Naruto, sniffling. As they started to walk back, Rai demanded to see Naruto wound. As Naruto lifted and moved his shirt, Rai saw Naruto almost heal chest. The skin was still pink, but the wound was gone. As he slapped Naruto in the back, in a happy way. As Naruto was confused about these reactions. So with that, Team 7 finally made their way back home. As they got back, nothing much had changed. Naruto was still the village pariah. As Naruto got older, he realized that it could not be the fact that he looked different why they avoided him. But the fact of the matter is, if he entered a store without a transformation, he got charged double the price. If he walked in the marketplace, people start to group together and whisper, as they noticed his red hair and the markings on his face. And if children got too close to him, their parents would drag them away, scolding them for getting too close. At one point, in a spark of inspiration, Naruto wondered if his features were truly a mark of a clan. But despite his best efforts and search, he found nothing about the Uzumaki clan in the archives. As he still couldn't understand why he was singled out at a young age. But despite that, it had not bothered him as much as it used to do. But things start to change. Kakashi started to drop by his apartment on days when they don't have a mission. Sometimes they picked up where they left off in previous discussion about chakra, applications, and theories. Other times the Jonin took him towards the training field and teach him some new kinjutsu or ninjutsu moves. After Naruto kept on asking him about lighting affinity that he used on Hidan, he promised that he would teach him another affinity. And it wasn't just Kakashi alone. Occasionally Rai would bang loudly on his door, demanding to spar with him. Rai could not get over the fact that Hidan knocked him unconscious so quickly, and he wanted to get better. And for a return in taijutsu tips from Naruto, Rai would help Naruto in target practice, and fasten letter bombs to kunais in discreet ways that the opponent would not notice. Even sometime Mayu joined in. However, she never looked for Naruto by herself. She was always either with Rai or Kakashi. But she started to talk to him more and more. Naruto wondered if it had something to do with that night when he was healing. He had tried to figure out if he ever did something bad to her, but he could not figure it out. So why did she forgive him? He had a feeling that she knew. He heard her words, but he just couldn't find himself to bring up the words to ask her. Still, nowadays as he trained with his team, he felt different. Out in the training field, none of the other villagers were there. It was just them, Team Kakashi. After a long hard day, they sometimes went to Ichiraku Ramen as well. The first time they went, Naruto had wondered in awe as he watched Rai and Mayu squabbled over a piece of pork in their bowls. "You said I could have it," Mayu said to Rai, as she was shouting and being rather ferocious. That was uncommon for him to see her like this. "That was before I realized it was the last one," Rai said, as he held it with the chopsticks high over his head. He then eats it right in front of her. Mayu pulled back and threw her chopsticks like shurikens right towards him. However, he backed it away with his own, but it bumped into Kakashi's bowl and knocked it off the counter. They watched in terrifying shock as Kakashi's bowl crashed on the ground. As Kakashi's eyes smiled, however, there was this ominous feeling. The owner chuckled a bit. "Why does this always happen when you're around?" He referred to the time when Naruto's bowl had been knocked over. As Naruto found himself apologizing, but for once he felt in a good mood. As these people were, it's just so different. As the seasons passed, Naruto became 11. To the entire team's shock though, Mayu baked him a cake. It was the first time that Naruto was eating cake, and while it was a bit too sweet for his taste, he finished all of it. His portion, that is, down to the last bite. Best of all though, Kakashi gifted him a new Tanto. Unlike the older one, this one allowed him to channel his chakra through it. Naruto made sure to polish it after every use. Team Kakashi continued to go on missions, but nothing more big happened like the one in Yukigakure. With Mayu's willingness to work with Naruto, their teamwork grew, bounds and leap, as missions got easier to complete. However, sometimes Rai lose focus and end up going off the plan, and Mayu had the tendency to freeze up whenever something unexpected happened. While Naruto once considered them to be in his way, he found himself thinking about how to help them improve. It was sometime in the new year as Kakashi told them that the Chunin exams are going to be taking place at the Hinasan at the Land of Wind. Naruto looked towards his teammates as they all gave him a nod, before he turned towards Kakashi. As he nodded towards Kakashi, Team Kakashi was ready for Chunin exams. Time skip. Naruto had never seen such open spaces in one place before, or such a color in a wide variety. As far as the eye could see, sand stretched out in all different directions. The horizon was not straight. You could see sand dunes piling up on one another. And there was this wave. Because the heat was rippling through the air, it created waves, movements that the eye could see, rippling all over. The sight was shocking, as Naruto had never been able to witness anything like this before, so yeah, it was a bit for him to take in as he witnessed the sight in front of him. The hidden sand was not exactly well hidden. Neither was the hidden leaf. The gigantic mountain with the Hokage's face carved into it was a dead giveaway for Konoha. But just like how Konoha was surrounded by dense forests and mountains, the sand was protected by a massive, wide area of nothing but vast sand. When they finally arrived towards the gate, they were sent towards an area that was circled by a barbed wire fence. Inside were huge pieces of rocks that jutted out from the sandy ground. The moment the gates opened up, several pieces of eyes turned towards them, many people looking their way. Naruto had never seen such a large gathering of foreign ninja in one place before. There were at least 4 other villages here, including the Hidden Rain, the Hidden Grass, the Hidden Waterfall Village, and the Sand Village itself. This place is disgusting. Jenny from Tokyo said, "I got mud all over my sandals. Let's hurry up and pass this exam so we can go back home," her teammate said in a grumble. "Confident, aren't they?" said Rai from beside him. He like the other 2 were wearing thick cloaks to protect them from the sun. "I wonder who the others from Konoha will be. I heard from my brother that some rookies are actually taking the exam this year. They must be really talented then," Mayu said, her eyes looking around. "I know I wouldn't have been ready for it when we just graduated. I don't even know if I'm ready now," she said. With a shake of his head, Rai patted her on the shoulder. "You'll be fine. You have me and Naruto backing you up." Her face remained pale, but she did nod. While it was too early to say for sure, Naruto could still tell that the exam was not going to be a pushover. The other villages would have sent their best genuine teams, and competition would be fierce. The question was, what kind of trials would they face? Different villages hosted the exams all the time, and the tests were always different. However, he knew this from the beginning, and they trained with this in mind. So long as Mayu did not freeze up, Naruto felt that their team was going to be strong competitors. They will be able to go through whatever tests was sent their way. Nervous? An unfamiliar voice spoke up as Naruto turned around to see a boy approaching them, with a headband of Konoha. He seemed several years older than them, his hair tied up in a ponytail. He was wearing glasses. You're from Konoha too, aren't you? Well, yeah, Rai said as he tapped the headband. I'm Kabuto, the boy said. This is your first time taking the exam, isn't it? Is it your first time in the sun as well? Yeah, Mayu said. Is it that obvious? Yeah, said Kabuto with a smile. You remind me of how I used to be. Is this your second time taking the exam, said Naruto. Nope, it's actually my fourth. This exam is held twice a year, so it's my second year. And it's my second time here in the sun as well. Unable to detect a lie from the boy's tone or his body language, Naruto felt himself losing interest. He doubted anyone truly competent would fail twice in a row. As Naruto turned to see another boy, he had the Konoha headband. He was pale, with long dark hair. As Naruto also saw those eyes, it was a Hyuga's. He seemed calm, but his fidgeting teammates looked a bit more nervous. Naruto looked him up and down. The Hyuga clan was said to be one of the strongest in Konoha. He wondered how the boy would measure up. Mayu followed Naruto's gaze. They must be one of the rookies from the class. After us. I don't recognize them, she said. Yeah, they are, Rai said, as he pointed at the girl with Chinese-style bun in her head. The girl is Tenten. She's a weapon specialist like me. Her dad used to train us together when we were young. Before they could go to talk to them though, a swirl of sand appeared at the beginning, as several people stood there. One of them a Jonin and the others being Chunins. As Naruto turned towards them, followed by his teammates. Thank you all for waiting, the man at the front said. Half of his face was covered. My name is Baki, and I will be your examiner for the first set of Chunin exams. You will all be assigned a team number in order of your arrival here. The Chunin examiner started to walk around as they gave out plates with numbers on it, as Kabuto returned to his team. As Naruto and his team had been the second to last to arrive, they received the number 79. A Hidden Rain team received their number after them. As Baki spoke once again, if you look around you will notice the slabs of rocks that have been placed in the field. Pick one and gather around it with your team. After a moment pause, Naruto and his team walk around towards the nearest rock. The others all do the same. Each rock was about 2 meters wide, with a minimum space between them. So the space between everyone was not that far. The rock was over 5 meters tall as Naruto glanced. The field has been divided into 20 sections, with 4 rocks in equal heights in each, and the team surrounding each rock. Your objective is to protect your rock and keep it above ground level. There are 5 ways to fail this test. 1. If your rock reaches ground level, your team automatically fails. 2. By the end of the time limit, which is 1 hour. If your rock is lower than any other rock in your section, out of the other 4, your team fail. 3. If you physically touch any of your opponents or their rocks, your team will fail. 4. If your whole team is unable to go on with the test, your team will fail. And 5. If you kill any of your opponents, you automatically fail. What? So how do we pass? Rai said. Naruto had found out that while Rai had many talents, swiftness of a mind was not one of them. Basically, we have to protect our rocks from the other teams, and only one team out of every 4. And only one team out of the 4 is gonna pass. We will have to attack the other team rock using projectile or jutsus, so they're at a lower level than ours. As Naruto turned towards the other teams, one of them was from the grass and the other 2 were from the sand. The decks were stacked against them. The teams from the sand was going to be operating in their environment. This test was going to be one of physical challenge, which is going to be problematic given their team strengths. Rai weapons would do little against the tough rocks, and Mayu Genjutsu would not do any effects on them. His wind chakra was short, but he hadn't tried to cut through any rocks before, meaning their best bet would probably be to take out the opposing Genins. Remembering something, Naruto reached down and picked up some of the sand. He rubbed it between his fingers. Most of it fell, but some of it stuck between his fingers. So, what's the plan? Rai said. As Naruto looked up to see, both Rai and Mayu were looking at him. He glanced towards enemy Genin. They were not listening, but to be sure, we'll go with plan E, said Naruto. As Baki opened his mouth, Mayu, take the grass. Rai, take the sand, said Naruto. Begin! Immediately, a flurry of actions and clanging filled the air. As Naruto formed formation with his hands, he noticed the sand Genins were focused on attacking the rocks. The Genins from the grass were already attacking their enemy ninjas. As a stream of shurikens slammed into the rocks, Pieces broke and clattered down. Ignoring the attack, Naruto exhaled a small but powerful gale from his mouth. Wind style. Gale. Whipping through the surrounding rocks, it careened towards the sand team farthest away from them. They jumped behind the rock, avoiding it. The wind slammed against the rock as it wobbled, but it was still standing. Naruto smiled as Mayu unclipped her hair clips as she lowered her hood. Her bird-shaped clips started to swell and grew twice their size. Stretching their wings, they took to the ear. Suddenly, there was a shout of pain as Rai was able to hit one of the sand Genins in the legs with 2 shuriken. Rai was loving this. Being a weapon specialist, he had good aim with his shurikens and kunais. While they could not physically touch their opponent, they could still use weapons and their ninjutsu, but he was a weapon type, and he was aiming after the enemy. The Genins fell to the ground and several Chunins appeared by his side with a stretcher. The remaining 2 turned their attention towards Team Kakashi, the other one being able to stand up. The female one of the group held her hands out as she directed a scorpion puppet towards Rai. Its stinger was gleaming with poison. Rai quickly pulled another scroll of weapons. Trusting his teammates carry out their part of the plan, Naruto sat behind the rock and closed his eyes as Naruto concentrated on sending his chakra underground before making it small and thin as possible. As Naruto felt the air pressure beneath him building up, and then something else started to surge upwards. In the distance, Naruto heard screams coming from the grass team and smiled. Mayu Genjutsu operated through her bluebirds. If the bluebirds made physical contact with another person, they would immediately fall under her trap. She could cause them to feel any sensation, include pain. The sand Genins wouldn't have fallen for the trick because they were familiar with the birds of the region, but the grass Genins would not suspect a thing. Now this led to remaining teams, as Naruto fed another burst of chakra into the technique before. He brought his hand down wind style, ear bubble, before he shot another ear blast to them. They turned as they were about to jump behind the rock until they looked down. Their legs were stuck. What the hell? They tried to pull them out, but no. Their legs were stuck in quicksand. Naruto had accumulated the air pressure underneath to pump the water underneath the ground upwards, causing the sand to quickly become sticky mud. As they were being pulled underneath as Naruto kept on exerting pressure, their body being pulled as the rock started to waver from left to right. As the rock finally gave out, their bodies being pulled down as well. Naruto then released a technique as the air bubble underneath bursts, causing their bodies to be blown from underneath the surface. Their body collapsed face first into a tub of mud, along with the rock that had sinking downwards. They were hacking and coughing up mud. They were covered in the thing. Since they were in the desert, Naruto never expected to have so much water, but there were abundance of water beneath them. Credit for the discovery had to be given to the Genin from Taki, who were complaining about the mud, as Naruto saw how the sand easily stick to his hands once it was wet. So the quicksand here was quite deadly in a capturing sense, as Naruto turned to see that Mayu and Rai were already done. The Genins from the grass were all around the rock, on their knees, frothing from the mouth, as Mayu birds came back, as they received the chakra leaving them, as she placed the hair clips back in her hair. The 2 other sand Genins, the destroyed puppet was at Rai's feet, as the 2 of them lay stump, back to their rock unconscious. Rai looked towards the chaos that Naruto had created with the quicksand. "You kind of overdid it," he said, as the Chunin examiners collect the incapacitated Genins. The leader for the exam came over as he looked them over. "Team 79 is the first to pass. Stand by for the second test," he said. Time skip. The teams that were able to take out their other teams were all gathered in a room with a row of clay chairs. As Naruto glanced around, only one other team from the rain was here. Their eyes were bloodshot as they glared at Team Kakashi. Naruto team was the first to pass, and then this rain team. As the minutes passed, more teams started to file in. With 10 minutes left on the clock, Naruto noticed the Konoha rookies coming in. Despite how long it taken them, they did not seem worn down as they walked in. As Rai beckoned for Mayu and Naruto to follow him. "If it isn't Tenten," he said. The girl perked up hearing her name as she turned. "Oh, it's you," she said. "It's been a while," said Rai, ignoring her lack of enthusiasm. As Naruto got the feeling that this was not an unusual dynamic, he wondered if something happened within their past. "This is Tenten, guys. These are my teammates, Naruto and Mayu." As Mayu shyly smiled at them. "This is Neji Hyuga and Rock Lee," said Tenten. As Rock Lee moved towards them. "Nice to meet you. I'm Rock Lee," he said, as he flashed them a grin with a thumbs up. "You're Kakashi's team, aren't you?" Neji said. Lee perked up hearing that. What? So you are the pupils of Guy Sensei, eternal rival. You will make worthy opponents then. Is Guy your team leader? Said Mayu. Yes, said Tenten. You guys must be the reason why Guy Sensei wanted to state the exam this year. As rookies, Tenten said, looking towards Mayu with a smile. Rai raised an eyebrow. I've never heard of this guy though. Are you sure that he and Kakashi are rivals? Are you sure you never heard of him? Said Lee. He's the strongest Jonin in Konoha, with a record of your Naruto Uzumaki. Said Neji, interrupting. Naruto, who had been silent the entire time, looked up, looking towards the pale-eyed boy, the one who graduated out of the academy 2 years early. Naruto blinked, surprised by that information this guy had on him. Right, said Naruto. Yeah, he's our local genius, a kind only born in once a generation, yada yada, said Rai as he threw his arm around Naruto. Kinda like you, Hayuka, I would say. A genius, huh? Said Lee. The words seemed to have struck something inside of him. I would like to challenge you to a fight sometime then. This probably is not the best venue for a fight, said Naruto. You'll have to wait for a later test for opportunity. Neji's eyes narrowed. You say that like you expect to win. That hadn't been Naruto's intention, but thinking about it, you suppose it was true. Tuh, as if Naruto would lose to some rookies like you, said Rai. Will you guys drop it already, said Tenten, looking towards her teammates. Let's just go, she said. Although Lee allowed himself to be dragged away, Neji brushed off Tenten's hand. Nonetheless, with another glare, he left. You could have been a bit more friendly, Rai, said Mayu. Tuh, they were being too cocky for a bunch of rookies. As Naruto followed the gazes of the rookies, Tenten and Rai seemed to have a strange rivalry going on that he did not know about. Lee was determined to make a name for himself, given the way he instantly challenged Naruto. His heavily bandaged face also indicated that he had trained hard. The first test had barely ruffled the Hyuga feathers. He seemed to be really calm. Team Guy would likely be mostly strong contestants in the exam. Naruto did not mind as long as they did not get in the way of Team Kakashi. He thought, the more Janins that passed, the better. When the time was finally up, there was about 18 teams in the room. Many of them looked weary, with proper bruises and scratches all around their body. Only a few seemed untouched. Kabuto's team was the last one to pass after the bell had rung. No one else came in as the door was closed. Someone walked up in front of them. As he looked younger than Baki, black hair covering his right eye. Congratulations on passing the first test of the Chunin selection. My name is Yura, and I'll be your second examiner, regardless if any of your teammates are capable or not. The second test will commence in the hour, but first, we will proceed to the venue for the second test. They made their way towards a long tunnel that went downwards. The walls were made of sand and rock. There was a few torches here and there to show a bit of light, but the rest was dark. As they went down the steps, Naruto looked around. The air was growing colder. As the place was getting a bit more damp, it seems the second test will be taking place underground. Mayu stumbled beside him as Naruto reached to settle her. As he noticed her face was pale. Are you okay? Naruto asked. He wondered if she got injured in the first test. Yeah, I just don't like feeling trapped in small places, she said, as she pulled away from him. Rai tried to say something to her, but she did not look his way, as she did not talk anymore. After 20 minutes they arrived to a cavern. There were 12 holes in front of them, gigantic human-like holes. A torch was burning beside each entrance. Naruto realized instantly it was likely going to be some kind of maze. Besides him, it seemed that Mayu came to the same conclusion, as she started to tremble. She really did not like close spaces. I will now explain the second nature of the test, and then afterwards all of you must sign these forms. Yura spoke up as he was in the middle of the cavern. There will be deaths in this test, and it will not be against the rule this time, as the papers were being passed out. So if I don't have you sign these, it will become my responsibility. Everyone is silent. In this test, it will be a survival of the fittest. Each team will enter a maze through a tunnel in the order of your passing of the first test. Here are some details of the maze. We are 200 feet below ground level. If you take the correct path all the way through, it's about 3 kilometers long before you end up at the surface. All the tunnels intersect one another at multiple points. Using whatever jutsu you have and weapons, your objective is to obtain 2 team plate. This includes your own team plate. So if you manage to protect yours, you need to only secure another one for your team. If your team plate is taken, you will need a team plate of 2 other teams. To pass this test, you and your team must reach the end with 2 other plates. They're cutting us, at least in half now. A Janine grumbled. There's also a time limit. This test will last 120 hours, which is exactly 5 days. You will be given a torch, but there's other sources of light in the maze. As for food and water, well, you will have to figure that out on your own. Those who cannot learn to adapt will die from the harshness. Now I will talk about what will disqualify you. First, those who don't make it to the end with 2 plates in the time limit. Second, anyone that create their own tunnel that reaches the surface. And third, anyone that destroy a team plate. Jenny from the rain raises hand. What if not everyone on our team survive? Your objective is to reach the end with 2 plates, said Yora. Even if you're the only surviving member, you'll pass if you complete this requirement. That is also after signing the forms. Go stand by the entrance, 1 team per entrance. It seems that the accomplishment of the mission in the sand was top priority. The mission must always be succeeded. It was not like Konoha with teamwork. It was about the mission. And the fact that it did not require all of them to be there for the third part, it meant the third test was probably going to be some kind of fight. Individual. Because they didn't need to pass through. Well, all of them did not need to pass through. That meant it was going to be something one-on-one. They would probably end up fighting each other because the numbers would be lessened by then. Do you think any of these tunnels are easier than the others, Rai said. By the time they handed in their forms, half of the teams had already completed their entrance, as they waited outside one of the tunnels. Possibly, said Naruto. But he said that they intersect, so it's unlikely to matter. He looked at Mayu. She had stopped shaking during the explanation, but she was still pale. He hesitated as he tried to find the right words. The tunnels should widen, so it wouldn't be too bad, Mayu. Thanks, she said with a weak smile. Rai lifted the torch from the handle. Good luck, Kabuto called out. As they entered, when they turned the corner, the place curved into the right. The tunnel behind them disappeared, as the only light source now was from the torch that Rai was holding. But the fire was weak, as Naruto wondered how long it would last. The wood was burning slowly, but Naruto was sure that the tuning instructors were not gonna give them a new one. It would last for probably a few hours. They start to walk even more. Did you hear that? Said Rai as he looked around. As Naruto stopped and listened. It's probably water, he said. Water? Down here? Remember how we had to climb those mountains to reach the sand, said Naruto. Mountains are just tilted layers of coarse settlement rocks, and they usually run under the desert. Whenever it rains or snow, they soak into layers, creating a reservoir of ground water. The water should be safe to drink as well. Naruto had researched the wind country, and he was glad that he did so. Well, alright if you say so, said Rai. But now that the issue of water is solved, what are we gonna do for food, he asked. There will probably be some animals that we can eat around here, Mayu said suddenly. As Naruto had predicted, the tunnels got wider as they walked further in, and she felt more calm now. I think we should find food or water first, before anything else. Naruto nodded, and after dealing with food, we should find a secure location. It will be difficult to find somewhere truly hidden inside these tunnels, so we should look for a place with more space to prepare an ambush. For tonight though, we should conserve our energy and just rest. Other team will be worked up and try to attack one another first, and they will be easy pickings for us later on. They picked up their pace as they saw a pale blue light in the distance. When they reached the light, they found themselves emerging into a gigantic cavern, 3 times the size of the one they went to before. The ground was clustered with large boulders. The walls were aligned with something that were giving off a faint light. As the other two gawked at the sheer size of the place, Naruto went over towards the wall, touching it. He now understood why Yura said there would be another source of light. It was a soft mossy plant that he never seen before. It glowed, covering the place in a blue light. All of a sudden, Mayu cried out as Naruto spun to see something flying from behind the boulder as Rai threw a kunai and struck it right in the chest. Stepping forward, he nudged it with his feet. It was a small, furry mole-like creature with a pink snout. Looks like we found our dinner, said Rai. Eventually, Naruto found the source of the water. It was a crack in the wall. Chipping holes with their kunais, they took turn collecting waters. After hunting down several more of the mole-like animals, they went behind the boulder. After Rai skinned the animals, Naruto was pondering how they were going to cook the meat, when suddenly, Mayu revealed something about herself that surprised him. Your chakra nature is fire. On further thought, he supposed he shouldn't be surprised. Konoha mostly had fire-based users, so yeah, he shouldn't be that surprised. She nodded shyly. I'm not that very good though, so I usually stick to genjutsu. How does it work? Well, I gather the chakra in my stomach and then I put pressure on it, heating it up. Then when it's ready, I blow it out. Wait, hear me, let me show you, she said. as she went through hand signs slowly. Fire style. Bonfire, she said. The stream was not that powerful, however. It strengthened the torch. That's handy, said Naruto, as he started to think about how they could incorporate these plans into their future planning. For some reason, Mayu face turned a bit pink at that, as she avoided his gaze. After cooking the meat over the torch and eating it, it was stringy, but edible. Another team entered the cavern, Naruto hearing their footsteps quiet the two down, as Naruto crept to the side of the boulder and peeped. When he saw who it was, some of the tension left his body, but he remained hidden. The rookies of Konoha wandered through the cavern, looking around. Amazing. Truly the springtime of youth, said Lee, punching the air. Is there another team here, Neji? Said Tenten. As Neji turned as Naruto noticed him looking their way. Is Byakugan activated? Yeah. But lucky for them. We'll leave them alone for now, said Neji. Come on, let's find another place to find shelter, Neji said as he smirked, looking towards the direction. His teammates did not protest as they followed behind him. Once it was safe, the group came out of hiding. I really hate that guy, Rai said. Though they could not see the sun, they could feel in their bodies. The hour was getting late. As it was between Naruto and Rai to take the first watch, allowing Mayu to sleep a bit first. She summoned a sleeping bag from a scroll, as Naruto and Rai looked at one another. Go on, I'll stand watch first. I'm not so sleepy anyways. Lying down on the ground and looking at the dark ceiling, Naruto wondered if the sun had set yet. While his internal clock told him that it was probably around 6 PM, it was probably thrown off an hour or two since they traveled towards the Sand Country. He had been about to drift off to sleep when, Hey Naruto. You awake? Rai whispered. Naruto's eyes snapped open despite the glow. From the moss, Naruto saw the outline alone. What is it? He said. I just want to know. What did you do to Mayu? What do you mean? Said Naruto confused. You wouldn't know it, but I've known her my whole life. And once she decides something, it's impossible to change her mind. He then paused for a while. Mayu doesn't like you. Do you know that? He said. I had an inkling, said Naruto. Actually, everyone I know hates you for a reason, so I figure you must have done something really bad. Mayu shifted as Rai went quiet. However, she returned back to sleeping. Anyways, do you remember that day that we have to fill out our birthdays in the academy on the calendar? What about it? Said Naruto. That's when I realized as well, Rai said. Well, I guess you already know that you were born on the day of the Ninetales attack. I was really young, so I barely remember. My parents were killed on that day. And it's stupid, but given your marks on your face, you kinda look like a fox, so it used to give me the creeps. As Naruto blinked, the Ninetales. He wondered if there was a reason to his life going out like this, being an orphan, but he never thought about that being the reason why he was hated. As Naruto's head began to throb, just like when he was wondering about what was it again? There was something else inside of him, another source of, his thoughts were cut off. Still, whatever anyone says, we definitely would have made it this far without you. And I don't know what you did, but I think Mayu kind of likes you now, he said. With that, Rai walked to his feet and made his way a distance. Despite just thinking about it, Naruto forgot what he was thinking about, as Naruto just kept quiet. Since they put out the fire, it was cold in the cave, as he ended up falling asleep, not knowing that something was wrong with him. Naruto was a smart, intellectual boy, however, when it comes to certain topics, he could not keep his mind focused on certain things. Why? While Naruto was thinking about that as he drifted off, two pair of orange eyes opened, as there was someone here taking the exams as well. Her eyes fluttered open, as she felt something strange, as she glanced around wondering what this feeling was. The orange-eyed female simply shrugged as she went back to sleep. But guys, be and subscribe right here. For the next person do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. Remember, share to all of your friends and social media platform. But I'm off now, see you guys soon. Peace, guys.